Coronavirus Task Force met and heard from the president the gratitude that he and I know all the American people feel for all the dedicated workers at FEMA, HHS, U.S. Public Health Service, FDA, and all those that are literally working on your behalf around the clock to partner with states, to partner with local health officials. And Mr. President, allow me to add my thanks and admiration to all of the entire team here at the federal level. On this Good Friday, we remember those who've lost their lives to the coronavirus. We remember their families, our dedicated healthcare workers, and our first responders. And we do well on this special day for Christians across this country to remember them in our prayers. But as you just heard from Dr. Birx and from the experts, it's also a good day to remember that Good Friday is always followed by Easter Sunday. And there is hope. There is hope in this moment that thanks to what the American people are doing every day, adhering to the President's coronavirus guidelines for America, thanks to the fact that Americans are listening to state and local leaders and putting the health of their family members and neighbors first, we're getting there, America. We're making progress, but it's imperative that we all continue to implement all of the guidance in the 30 days to slow the spread. As the Surgeon General just attested, at the President's direction, we engaged more than 400 leaders in the African American community today, and allow me to express my appreciation for their leadership and their efforts in communicating to African Americans and other minority populations some of the unique challenges that those communities face in the midst of this epidemic. And the CDC, as the Surgeon General said, is working on not only studying the issue, but very rapidly issuing new guidance, and we'll be communicating that new guidance to all of those great leaders. On the subject of testing and supplies, the President gave a great amount of detail. More than 2.1 million tests have been performed, and we continue to work very, very closely with FDA and suppliers around the country to expand the ability of testing. And you just heard Dr. Hahn reflect on the fact that very soon we will have an antibody test that Americans will be able to take to determine whether they ever had the coronavirus. I spoke today to the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis. We've been in contact with Senator Cory Gardner about an outbreak at a particular meatpacking facility in the Colorado area. And at this time, our team is working with the governor and working with the senator to ensure that we flow testing resources. At this point, there are some 14 people hospitalized, maybe 200 to 300 of the workforce have been impacted, and we spoke about providing those resources this weekend. I want to encourage people in Colorado that we will work to support that effort, but I also want to emphasize that all of the people that are working in food supply, from farmers to meat packers to distributors to truckers to grocers, continue to have our gratitude, as President Trump said just a few moments ago. On supplies, more than $5 billion have been obligated to the states. 29,600 National Guard have been activated. And at the President's direction, more than 4,700 active duty military personnel have been deployed, medical military personnel in 9 states, focusing on the areas of most significant epidemic. Air Bridge, 26 flights have been completed. 4 flights are scheduled to arrive today, bringing 250,000 gowns, 25 million pairs of gloves. 54 more flights are scheduled, literally bringing in supplies from around the world. Finally, let me say, as we go into this very special weekend, into Easter services, I know I speak on behalf of the President when I say how grateful we are to all of the churches that have been there, and their ministries have been working under great difficulty to continue to provide for the needs of your members. There have been food drives, there have been phone calls, and ministry has continued, and we are grateful for the role on this Holy Week that our churches, our synagogues, and all of our houses of worship have played. On their behalf, allow me to remind you that even if you're not in the pew this Easter Sunday, if you are able, it's still a good idea to give, because those ministries continue to go forward and we encourage you. We encourage you to continue to support them. We also want to say very respectfully to all the church communities around this country and all the places of worship to continue to heed the guidelines issued in the President's coronavirus guidelines for America. We know it's difficult in this time of year, particularly, Mr. President, to avoid gatherings of more than 10, but we're grateful that so many churches, synagogues, and places of worship have done just that, and we urge you to continue to do it. And to my Christian brothers and sisters across the country, let me encourage you with the words. We should all remember that Jesus said, wherever two or more are gathered, there he is also. And so you can worship, you can celebrate Easter, and know that you'll be blessed in so doing, and you'll be serving the nation. Thank you, Mr. President.